For eons, humanity has tilted its head skyward, eyes tracing the silent, unwavering dance of stars and planets across the cosmic stage. We've projected our profound hopes, our deepest fears, and our most fervent longings onto that vast inky canvas, dreaming of civilizations far beyond our terrestrial grasp. We've sought divine portents in the zodiac, whispered prayers to shooting stars, and continually yearned for a silent confirmation of companionship in the cold, silent, and seemingly empty cosmic ocean. But what if, for an untold epoch, perhaps even since the dawn of our consciousness, that very confirmation has been silently circling our own planet? A presence, predominantly unseen by the masses, yet rumored in hushed whispers and occasionally tracked by instruments, defying all conventional understanding of our technological timeline. This is the enduring story of that enigmatic sentinel, a legend shrouded in profound shadow, cosmic intrigue, and persistent speculation.
Good evening, and welcome back to Unexplained History. I'm Tom Mackenzie. Tonight, we embark on an ambitious journey, one that stretches across more than a century of human endeavor and plunges us deep into the cold, silent expanse directly above our heads. Our subject is a phantom object, an alleged ancient artificial satellite, known in the annals of ufology, fringe science, and popular culture as the formidable Black Knight. For the countless millions, perhaps billions, who believe in its existence, this enigmatic craft has reportedly been present for tens of thousands of years, acting as an inexplicable observer or silent guardian, predating any human capacity to launch even the simplest object into space, a fact that in itself is deeply unsettling. Its complex narrative is a rich tapestry, intricately woven from disparate threads of groundbreaking innovation, pervasive geopolitical paranoia, and intriguing photographic anomalies, an almost cosmic riddle.
The legend of the Black Knight beckons with alluring promises of extraterrestrial design, deeply held secret governmental knowledge, and technology far beyond our current comprehension or even our most optimistic projections. It powerfully sparks the wildest extremes of human imagination, hinting at a truth so vast, so profound, that it could irrevocably rewrite everything we thought we knew about humanity's origins, its true place in the cosmic order, and its ultimate destiny. Yet, amidst the fervent belief, the compelling mystery, and the breathless speculation, there exists a more grounded, more analytical path, one of careful historical analysis, rigorous scientific inquiry, and dispassionate evidence review. We must endeavor to understand not just the alleged anomaly itself, but crucially, the deeply human response it evokes, and the often unseen processes by which scattered, sometimes trivial, oddities miraculously coalesce into an enduring and captivating myth that grips generations. This is a profound story about the very boundaries of human knowledge, about the tantalizing, almost gravitational pull of the unknown, and about our enduring, insatiable fascination with the vast, beckoning skies above. It's an intricate narrative woven around how myths are born, carefully nurtured, and sustainably propagated in the fertile, often unsettling ground that exists between established, verifiable fact and bewildering, seemingly anomalous observation. The Black Knight ultimately transcends its mere designation as an object. It has evolved into a sprawling cultural phenomenon, a powerful, almost allegorical reflection of our deepest hopes, our most persistent anxieties, and our profound, fundamental need to comprehend our precarious place in a universe that remains, in so many fundamental ways, utterly mysterious, deeply enigmatic, and perpetually unexplained to our limited understanding of its vastness and complexity.
Our exploration today aims to navigate this complex and often treacherous terrain with both an acute sense of balance and an unwavering commitment to intellectual depth. We seek not to prematurely confirm or definitively debunk, not to impose a preconceived conclusion, but rather to present the intricate narrative in its full, immersive, and often contradictory context. We will diligently weigh the historical accounts, carefully consider the geopolitical and psychological pressures of their respective eras, and rigorously examine both the compelling evidence presented by its ardent proponents and the equally rigorous, thoroughly reasoned counter-arguments offered by established science. The overarching objective is to provide our listeners with nothing less than a rich, comprehensive, and intellectually honest understanding of how this multifaceted legend came to be, why its captivating power persists across generations, and what fundamental human curiosities and anxieties it continues to tap into, ensuring that every significant facet of its enigmatic, enduring story is thoroughly explored and meticulously presented for your consideration, leaving you to ponder the true nature of this remarkable cosmic tale.
Our initial and most speculative foray into the deep genesis of the Black Knight legend inevitably takes us to a singularly momentous year, 1899. This was not merely the cusp of a new century, it was a period pregnant with scientific innovation and breathtaking discovery. An era when the previously considered impossible was routinely transformed into tangible reality through sheer, unyielding human ingenuity. In the heart of Colorado Springs, nestled amidst the crisp, clear air and majestic peaks of the Rocky Mountains, a solitary laboratory pulsed and audibly crackled with an almost otherworldly, mysterious energy. This was the hallowed sanctuary of Nikola Tesla, a true titan of invention, an almost prophetic figure of the nascent electrical age, whose extraordinarily fertile mind conceived of technological futures that seemed like pure, unadulterated magic to his late 19th century contemporaries. Tesla was never content merely refining existing scientific principles. He was fundamentally, boldly rewriting the very laws of physics as they were then inadequately understood, consistently pushing the intellectual and practical boundaries of what was truly conceivable with alternating current, then nascent radio transmission, and his audacious, revolutionary concept of wireless power transfer on a global scale.
Tesla's Colorado Springs laboratory was, without hyperbole, nothing short of a scientific marvel. It was meticulously engineered to house his colossal magnifying transmitter, a monumental device capable of generating millions of volts and producing earth-shaking artificial lightning bolts that spectacularly stretched over 135 feet, a truly terrifying display of raw power. His overarching ambition was a breathtakingly visionary one, nothing less than achieving global wireless power transmission and universal instantaneous communication, forever changing the human condition. However, far beyond the purely spectacular visual displays of raw electrical power that fascinated the public, Tesla was also deeply, almost obsessively, engaged in a far more subtle, yet equally profound, scientific endeavor. He was listening. He meticulously tuned his exquisitely sensitive, uniquely designed receivers not merely to the predictable terrestrial phenomena, but to the faint, ethereal, electromagnetic symphony that constantly emanates from the vast cosmos surrounding our planet, tirelessly hoping to discern meaningful patterns within the omnipresent, natural static. It was precisely during these extensive and profoundly meticulous auditory explorations that Tesla claimed to have stumbled upon something truly extraordinary, something that dramatically transcended the familiar background hum of natural static and the usual terrestrial electrical interference he had so thoroughly studied over decades of relentless experimentation.
In a seminal 1901 interview with Collier's Weekly, an article that sent ripples of wonder and skepticism across the globe, Tesla vividly recounted his astonishing experience of receiving periodic signals, a message from another world. He meticulously described these mysterious signals as precise sequences of numbers, repeated in exact, rhythmic patterns, entirely unlike any form of natural terrestrial or atmospheric interference he had ever encountered during his lifelong meticulous studies and groundbreaking electrical experiments. His intuitive scientific instincts honed over decades of unparalleled innovation. He firmly felt, unequivocally confirmed, that his highly sensitive instruments had detected a clear, intelligent, and indisputably artificial broadcast originating from a source far beyond the Earth's atmosphere. A truly unprecedented scientific moment that, if true, would fundamentally reshape humanity's understanding of its place in the universe. This bold, almost unbelievable claim, emerging from a scientist of Tesla's stature, was deeply perplexing to many, yet it resonated with others as a profound truth, igniting the earliest sparks of cosmic contact in the public imagination, laying a deeply ambiguous foundation for what would later become the intricate myth of the Black Knight satellite. Regardless of its true ultimate origin, Tesla's groundbreaking declaration planted a profoundly crucial seed within the collective human psyche, the tantalizing idea that an intelligence far beyond our own might be actively attempting to communicate across the immense, silent cosmic void. It implicitly, yet powerfully, suggested a long-standing, pre-existing presence, an effort at profound contact that dramatically preceded our own arduous technological evolution into the realm of radio communication. This fundamental, almost primal notion of a pre-existing non-terrestrial intelligence potentially utilizing radio waves would later be retroactively woven, with impressive creative license and opportunistic interpretation, into the intricate fabric of the Black Knight myth. It thereby became the legend's ancient foundational genesis point, granting it an almost incomprehensible historical depth, powerfully suggesting that the enigmatic Black Knight's silent, perpetual vigil may have commenced even before humanity truly grasped the profound meaning of the heavens above them. The initial, faint spark of this grand and terrifying narrative, therefore, didn't originate from a physical sighting in the sky, but rather from a mysterious whisper carried on the airwaves, expertly captured by the extraordinary, pioneering ears of the undisputed father of alternating current, forever linking his genius to this cosmic enigma.
The Tesla connection, while perhaps the most speculative and tenuous initial link in the sprawling Black Knight narrative, is nevertheless absolutely vital to fully understanding the legend's enduring and almost magnetic allure. It powerfully imbues the entire myth with a profound sense of immense antiquity and an almost cosmic purpose, setting a tone of deep wonder and timeless mystery. For the legions of individuals who fervently believe in the Black Knight, Tesla's enigmatic account serves as an incredibly powerful testament. If a scientific genius of such unparalleled caliber truly claimed to have made contact, then the compelling possibility existed that something truly profound was indeed reaching out from the cosmos, or simply existing in Earth's immediate cosmic vicinity for an unfathomably long time before humanity could ever officially detect its presence. It invariably asks a haunting and deeply unsettling question, one that resonates across generations. What if humanity's very first profound inkling of a truly alien presence was not a fleeting, ambiguous glimpse or an imagined, fantastical encounter, but rather a genuine, albeit deeply misunderstood, scientific detection skillfully made by one of history's most brilliant and visionary minds? It's a question that, even today, continues to echo faintly, yet persistently, in the background static of our modern understanding of the infinite universe. setting an ominous and intriguing stage for the myriad of strange events that were yet to dramatically unfold in the human saga of exploration and wonder, forever cementing the Black Knight as a fixture of cosmic folklore and compelling human narrative.
As the mid-20th century dawned, a new and profoundly chilling conflict came to define the global landscape: the Cold War. It was an ideological battle fought not with direct military confrontation on battlefields, but through a complex, pervasive web of espionage, psychological warfare, ideological propaganda, proxy wars waged in distant lands, and, most crucially, a furious, unprecedented technological arms race. The ultimate prize in this burgeoning global competition was not merely terrestrial military supremacy or economic dominance, but something far grander and more symbolically potent: absolute dominance in the final uncharted frontier, space. Yet, even before either the technologically advanced United States or the secretive Soviet Union could successfully launch a single, crude artificial satellite into orbit, unsettling whispers and intriguing reports began to emerge of unidentified objects already silently circling our planet. These were far from the sleek, unmistakable rockets and nascent spacecraft of emerging superpowers. These were phantom targets, enigmatic ghost signals, detected by the very nations engaged in a frantic, desperate race to achieve orbital mastery. These mysterious anomalies, frequently referred to in intelligence circles and early media as the dark satellites, began making their perplexing appearance in the early 1950s, a full decade before anyone ever coined the evocative term Black Knight, and would, in time, form another absolutely critical and indelible pillar upon which the enduring legend would be meticulously constructed, forever altering our perception of what truly existed above us.
The true, tangible genesis of the Black Knight's existence as a physical object in Earth orbit can be meticulously traced with remarkable clarity to the tense and volatile geopolitical climate of the mid-1950s. To truly grasp the profound significance and immediate impact of these anomalous reports, one must first deeply immerse oneself in the pervasive atmosphere of the Cold War, a global stage dominated by profound and crippling paranoia, an unprecedented military arms build-up fueled by the terrifying anxieties of nuclear annihilation, and a desperate, clandestine struggle for every conceivable technological advantage between the world's two burgeoning superpowers. Both the United States and the Soviet Union were, at this precise historical juncture, pouring immense financial, intellectual, and human resources into developing advanced rocketry capable of delivering orbital payloads, each side desperate to outmaneuver the other. The chilling idea that a rival nation might somehow clandestinely leapfrog the competition and deploy a sophisticated, undetectable surveillance satellite was nothing short of a nightmare scenario for military strategists and intelligence agencies on both sides of the Iron Curtain. It was meticulously against this backdrop of intense geopolitical tension and escalating fear that highly unusual, almost unbelievable, reports began to subtly filter through highly classified intelligence channels and, on rare occasions, found their way into the public domain through carefully controlled leaks, speculative journalistic investigations, or accidental disclosures, inevitably igniting widespread public curiosity, profound concern, and a deep sense of national vulnerability, further fertilizing the ground for cosmic mysteries.
In the spring of 1954, a compelling and widely read article profoundly captivated readers of the San Francisco Examiner. It cited a former distinguished naval aviator, and decorated aircraft designer who described how American fighter pilots had reportedly been tracking two profoundly mysterious objects in Earth orbit. These were not merely fleeting flashes of light or distant, ambiguous points in the sky that could be easily dismissed. These were unequivocally picked up, tracked, and confirmed by sophisticated cutting-edge radar systems, lending irrefutable credibility to their physical presence. More significantly, the highly respected trade journal Aviation Week and Space Technology, a publication considered absolutely essential reading for aerospace engineers, military strategists, and top-tier policymakers, subsequently published an article detailing remarkably similar, corroborating observations. This authoritative report explicitly stated that U.S. Air Force radar installations were consistently tracking objects that were clearly artificial in nature, yet neither superpower had laid any claim of ownership or responsibility for them, creating an immediate and deeply troubling mystery. What rendered these reports particularly startling and unsettling was the utterly unexpected nature of their orbit, a distinctly polar trajectory. This is an extraordinarily technically demanding orbit to achieve, requiring far more complex guidance and propulsion systems than anything either the fledgling US or Soviet space programs were officially capable of even attempting at that early stage. A classic polar orbit, crucially, allows a satellite to methodically pass over virtually every single point on the Earth's surface, as the planet majestically rotates beneath it, making it the most ideal and coveted trajectory for sophisticated reconnaissance and deep-seated surveillance missions. If these elusive dark satellites truly existed as reported, it implicitly suggested that someone, or something, had already achieved a level of orbital sophistication that dwarfed the combined multi-billion-dollar efforts of the world's leading spacefaring nations, leaving military planners utterly bewildered, deeply concerned, and desperate for answers. This profound technical disparity was a core element fueling the legend's early growth and its unsettling implications. A mere 3 years later, in 1957, another profoundly significant event dramatically unfolded, just as the space age officially, and quite spectacularly, began with the launch of Sputnik. On the very precipice of humanity's historic launch of its very first artificial satellite, a diligent Venezuelan researcher and astrophysicist named Dr. Luis Corral, while meticulously conducting his own independent astronomical observations, succeeded in detecting an unidentified object orbiting Earth. What rendered Dr. Corral's observation particularly profound and undeniably credible was its swift and authoritative corroboration by simultaneous radar detections emanating from other independent, ground-based observers scattered across the globe. This was not merely anecdotal evidence or a lone, unverified claim subject to individual optical illusion. It represented a genuine, confirmed detection, arriving outside the tightly controlled and often opaque military channels, lending it an additional layer of scientific objectivity. Crucially, the precise trajectory of this detected object, its astounding velocity, and its unusual orbital path fundamentally defied the then-known laws of orbital mechanics for a simple, uncontrolled debris field or any naturally occurring celestial body. It was reported to be moving in a distinctly retrograde orbit, explicitly moving against the Earth's natural direction of rotation, a remarkably complex maneuver that would have necessitated immense, precise propulsive power and advanced real-time guidance systems. A feat of engineering and orbital mechanics that would have remained far beyond the actual capabilities of human rocketry at that nascent stage of space exploration. This perplexing object, too, remained conspicuously unclaimed by any earthly nation, existing as a silent, inexplicable ghost in the rapidly burgeoning machine of humanity's ambitious orbital aspirations. It constituted yet another unsettling and deeply perplexing data point in the mounting evidence of something extraordinary in near-Earth space. The pervasive question echoed across the global scientific community, and within hushed military corridors, who was already up there? And for how long had they silently been watching our every terrestrial movement, our every technological stride, and our desperate race towards the stars? This incident provided another potent, verifiable mystery that could be easily folded into the embryonic Black Knight legend, giving it further depth and credibility.
These pervasive 1950s sightings and reports, profoundly shrouded in layers of military secrecy, technological mystery, and the deep-seated anxieties of the raging Cold War, meticulously laid an absolutely crucial and undeniable groundwork for the eventual sprawling Black Knight legend. They fundamentally solidified the terrifying idea that something inexplicable, something preternatural, was already silently and patiently navigating the cosmic pathways of space, diligently and continually observing terrestrial developments. It was no longer simply a matter of ambiguous human error or optimistic wishful thinking that could be easily dismissed. It had undeniably become a matter of legitimate, though often profoundly perplexing, detection by highly sophisticated instruments and rigorously trained observers whose collective testimony could not be easily brushed aside. The profound psychological impact of these early dark satellite reports on the global consciousness simply cannot be overstated. They effectively created a ready-made, pre-existing narrative framework, a psychological void into which future, equally anomalous, occurrences could be effortlessly fitted and seamlessly integrated, providing the legend with unparalleled resilience. They chillingly suggested, long before any official, declared human presence in orbit was established, that the universe had already dispatched its own mysterious emissary. A silent, technologically advanced spy, perpetually and ominously hovering above us, acting as a profound harbinger of the truly unknown that decisively cemented the Black Knight as an enduring orbital enigma, setting the stage for many more decades of intense global speculation and profound wonder that would irrevocably alter humanity's perception of its place in the cosmos, and fueling a deeply ingrained sense of mystery that continues to resonate with us today.
The decade following the monumental launch of Sputnik in 1957 was a maelstrom of unbridled scientific ambition, technological innovation, and exhilarating public fascination. Humanity had, for the very first time, successfully breached the Earth's restraining atmosphere, and the audacious, politically charged race to plant a flag on the moon was aggressively in full, dramatic swing. But beyond the intensely political agendas, the fierce nationalistic competition, and the dazzling technological marvels, there blossomed a more profound, almost philosophical question across the globe. Are we truly alone in this boundless cosmic expanse? The intriguing reports of unknown objects in Earth orbit from the early 1950s had already powerfully seeded a deep sense of cosmic mystery and existential wonder. The 1960s would spectacularly amplify this nascent speculation, weaving it explicitly into the burgeoning scientific search for extraterrestrial intelligence and broadcasting it to the broadest possible global audience through the immensely powerful and increasingly pervasive medium of the international popular press. This pivotal era consequently witnessed the dark satellite theory evolve organically from military rumor, rapidly solidify into widespread public discourse, and meticulously begin its full transformation into the legendary narrative we recognize today, propelled equally by earnest, rigorous scientific inquiry and by sensationalist, often breathless and captivating, media coverage, each feeding the other.
The cultural and scientific climate of the early 1960s was, without question, profoundly ripe for the genesis and widespread embrace of such intriguing narratives. With our own nascent, albeit rudimentary and often experimental, satellites now audibly beeping triumphantly from their orbital pathways, the sky was no longer a purely philosophical or astronomical canvas for distant observation. It had been irrevocably transformed into a tangible, accessible, and deeply contested frontier, a new battleground for ideological supremacy. And, as with any emerging frontier, one of the most paramount questions that immediately arises is, who else might already be exploring it, or even more unsettlingly, holding a prior and more ancient claim? This precise historical and existential question provided the ideal backdrop for the momentous birth of Project Ozma in 1960, an absolutely landmark moment in humanity's perennial quest for cosmic companionship beyond terrestrial boundaries. Led by the remarkably visionary radio astronomer Dr. Frank Drake, Project Ozma represented the very first modern, systematic, and purely scientific attempt to successfully detect intelligent alien life by meticulously scanning for sophisticated interstellar radio signals, thereby fundamentally altering the entire nature and approach of the search from mere speculation to empirical investigation.
Utilizing the then state-of-the-art 85-foot radio telescope situated at the Green Bank National Radio Astronomy Observatory in West Virginia, Drake and his dedicated team meticulously aimed their exquisitely sensitive instruments at two nearby sun-like stars, Tau Ceti and Epsilon Eridani, two candidates for harboring advanced life, hoping to intercept some form of intelligent broadcast. While Project Ozma itself ultimately yielded no definitive confirmed signals of alien intelligence during its brief operational period, its true significance transcended immediate technical success or failure. It was less about instant gratification and far more about pioneering an entirely new scientific field, the formal search for extraterrestrial intelligence, or SETI. It powerfully symbolized a monumental paradigm shift, moving the profound search for alien contact from the realm of anecdotal reports, individual brilliant hunches like Tesla's, and speculative fiction into a rigorously structured, testable, and purely scientific endeavor. From that moment forward, sophisticated radio dishes, rather than human ears or even Tesla's advanced coils, became humanity's primary listening ears to the vast and silent galaxy, marking a profound evolution in our cosmic inquiry and offering a new, more methodical approach to resolving the mystery opened by Tesla.
The Time article proved to be an absolute watershed moment for the nascent Black Knight narrative. While it did, in fairness, present a range of plausible and typically terrestrial explanations for the object's ultimate true identity, the sheer act of openly discussing an unidentified, seemingly artificial object operating in orbit, demonstrably predating human spaceflight, within such a prominent and widely distributed forum, was in itself profoundly sufficient to imprint the idea deeply into the public imagination. It effectively lent an official veneer of credibility to the entire concept of an ancient, unknown satellite, transforming it from a fringe theory into mainstream discussion and public fascination. The crucial seed of cosmic doubt was now firmly planted and deeply rooted. A verified, yet truly known unknown was unequivocally up there. The public, captivated and intrigued, began the compelling process of connecting the metaphorical dots, or more accurately, actively creating novel narrative connections where none had previously been definitively established, fueling rampant speculation. They collectively pondered if what was being tracked was not merely some discarded relic or an operational mistake, but rather something far more ancient, something far more purposeful, and imbued with profound cosmic significance. The evocative imagery of a black knight, a solitary silent guardian from a romantically bygone era, began to intuitively coalesce around these persistent and baffling sightings, subtly adding a powerful layer of romanticism, deep historical resonance, and an almost mythical grandeur to the rapidly burgeoning narrative, thereby laying the groundwork for its full mythic embrace in the decades that would follow, where speculation would truly run wild and grow in its complexity and allure, a testament to humanity's desire for a grand, cosmic narrative.
Thus, the intensely charged Cold War atmosphere, replete with its inherent national fears and breathtaking technological leaps, coupled synergistically with the earnest and pioneering scientific inquiry of Project Ozma, pushing the boundaries of our cosmic awareness, and profoundly amplified by widespread, often sensationalist and breathless, mainstream media coverage, hungry for engaging stories, collectively forged an extraordinarily fertile ground for such a potent legend to not only take tenacious root, but to dramatically flourish. Every unexplained blip detected on a radar screen, every unidentifiable object fleetingly observed in the sky or picked up by newly deployed highly sensitive tracking stations could now be effortlessly folded into an increasingly grander, all-encompassing narrative, a haunting narrative of a mysterious, perpetually silent watcher. These objects were no longer perceived as mere disconnected anomalies. They were rapidly becoming integral pieces of a far larger, more profound cosmic puzzle, tantalizing hints of a hidden, terrifying truth. A relic from an unknown, impossibly ancient civilization, silently and patiently presiding over humanity's hesitant and profoundly uncertain steps into the cosmos, had become a widespread public fascination, permanently imprinted onto the collective consciousness. This pivotal period ultimately firmly established the dark satellite as a truly compelling concept, paving the way for it to be fully and passionately embraced as the ancient extraterrestrial Black Knight in the subsequent decades, where its legend would grow to truly epic, global proportions, captivating the imaginations of millions across the globe and solidifying its place in the pantheon of unexplained phenomena. Decades passed, and the initial exhilarating thrill of the nascent space age gradually matured into operational routine. The heroic, pioneering launches that once captured global imagination gave way to the steady, almost predictable cadence of the Space Shuttle program, a remarkable marvel of reusable spacecraft that regularly ferried astronauts and exquisitely sophisticated equipment into Earth orbit. International competition, once the primary fierce driver of space exploration, had steadily transitioned into an era of unprecedented, critical cooperation, ultimately culminating in the ambitious, collaborative construction of the International Space Station, a monumental testament to global unity and human ingenuity in space. Yet even in this highly advanced era of sophisticated technology, ubiquitous satellite imagery, and unprecedented transparency in space operations, the deeply seated allure of the unexplained continued to find potent new life and fresh fuel for its fires. In December of 1998, a seemingly ordinary NASA mission would, quite inadvertently, provide what many fervent adherents of the Black Knight legend still vigorously contend to be its most compelling, tangible, and visually real piece of evidence. A remarkable series of enigmatic photographs captured by the vigilant crew of the Space Shuttle Endeavour during mission STS-88. These captivating high-resolution images, widely disseminated, would dramatically breathe potent new life into an already simmering, decades-old conspiracy, transforming vague historical reports into strikingly clear, visual proof that resonated deeply with a new generation of believers, seemingly confirming what they had long suspected was undeniably true, and giving the Black Knight a modern, concrete manifestation.
NASA's Space Shuttle Endeavour specifically assigned to mission STS-88, bore a critically important and highly complex assignment on its journey into orbit. Its primary objective was to successfully deliver and meticulously connect the Unity module, which represented the very first crucial U.S. component to Russia's already orbiting Zarya module, thereby commencing the intricate process of forming the functional core of the nascent International Space Station. This complex, highly intricate docking and precise assembly operation was orchestrated as a meticulously choreographed ballet of advanced human ingenuity and robotic precision, involving intricate maneuvering, multiple lengthy spacewalks, and extensive, often minute-by-minute, photo documentation intended to log every critical detail. It was precisely during the course of their mission, while diligently engaged in these historic assembly tasks, that the shuttle crew inadvertently captured a series of iconic photographs and accompanying video footage that, in the fullness of time and through the crucible of public interpretation, would become an unforeseen and utterly fundamental cornerstone of vast extraterrestrial lore. Among these literally thousands of images, many of which were routinely taken to document standard engineering details and operational procedures through the windows, were several particularly striking frames that depicted highly unusual and profoundly perplexing objects floating conspicuously outside the shuttle's payload bay. These were not merely fleeting, ambiguous glimpses that could be easily dismissed. Rather, these were relatively clear, vividly well-lit photographs of distinct physical objects that defied any immediate, easy, or conventional identification by anyone who viewed them, further fueling the mounting sense of cosmic mystery and wide-ranging speculation that had been building for decades, providing a tangible visual focal point for the pre-existing legend.
The objects captured in these pivotal STS-88 images were undeniably peculiar. They appeared, illuminated by the stark, unyielding and shadowless glare of space, to be unmistakably artificial in their fundamental construction, exhibiting a distinct metallic sheen and an angular, somewhat intricate, and clearly non-natural structure. Crucially, and perhaps most intriguingly, for those seeking patterns, they seem to be either accompanied by, or perhaps even directly connected to, a long, thin, flexible appendage, almost resembling a cable or a protracted metallic arm extending directly from the alleged main body. They were decidedly not the sleek, smooth, and easily recognizable forms of known, standard terrestrial satellites, nor did they bear any resemblance whatsoever to the standardized, predictable shapes of conventional space junk typically encountered and identified in Earth's orbit. Against the ethereal, deeply haunting backdrop of the Earth's gracefully curving limb and the vast, utterly black void of deep space, these inexplicable anomalies immediately drew the intense, scrutinizing gaze of the global public, and, more specifically, the burgeoning online communities ardently dedicated to UFOs and entrenched conspiracy theories, once the images were eventually and belatedly released through NASA's publicly accessible archives. The profound visual ambiguity of the objects, combined synergistically with the undeniable official NASA source of the imagery, collectively made these very images extraordinarily potent and uniquely influential, setting them apart dramatically from previous, less concrete claims, and lending them an air of official, albeit misinterpreted, validity. The profound impact of the STS-88 images on the enduring Black Knight legend cannot, in any reasonable estimation, be overstated. These captivating images circulated both widely and rapidly across the nascent global internet, very quickly garnering immense, unquestioned credibility simply by virtue of having been captured initially and subsequently officially released by an institution as reputable and authoritative as NASA. For countless individuals, this was the definitive confirmation they had so ardently sought, often for decades, a tangible answer to their deep-seated questions. This was the precise moment where the nebulous whispers of the distant past finally found their undeniable high-resolution present, dramatically transforming a fringe theory into a tangible, visually striking reality. The very existence of such clearly defined images seemed to irrefutably confirm that Tesla's elusive, unsettling signals, the profoundly confounding radar blips of the 1950s, and now these distinct, observable objects photographed in space, were all inextricably part of the same grand, ongoing and tightly guarded cosmic secret, the enduring, ancient and silently observing presence of the Black Knight. For many adherents, NASA, a powerfully iconic symbol of cutting-edge scientific exploration and absolute transparency, was now perceived as being either unwittingly revealing a profound truth, or more sinisterly, actively attempting to conceal or cover up the profound and earth-shattering significance of what its own highly trained astronauts had so vividly and unmistakably documented photographically. The implications of this perception were immense and globally significant, dramatically transforming the Black Knight from a purely theoretical nebulous historical anomaly into a disturbingly tangible, if still enigmatic reality, leaving an indelible mark on the collective consciousness and fueling an entire new generation of intense speculation and profound belief in its extraterrestrial origins, further solidifying its place in the pantheon of grand conspiracies.
Crucially, as with all truly compelling mysteries that captivate the human imagination and persist through generations, context is absolutely everything. And the meticulously detailed context surrounding the STS-88 images, as we shall diligently explore in our next segment, offers a remarkably different, yet no less intricate or fascinating explanation. One that is firmly rooted in the undeniable realities of complex spaceflight logistics, mundane orbital mechanics, and the inherent, often unpredictable challenges of operating in the unforgiving vacuum of space. Nevertheless, these instantly recognizable photographs stubbornly remain a powerfully iconic, visually haunting, and profoundly significant reinforcement of the Black Knight legend within the popular consciousness. They continue to provide an intensely tangible focal point for those who fervently believe in a silent, ancient watcher perpetually positioned above, effectively turning the legend from a purely abstract, philosophical concept into something concrete, something literally discernible, something you can physically point to and emphatically declare, "Look." It's undeniably real. They represent, for countless many, the precise moment the Black Knight truly stepped out of the profound shadows of historical speculation and boldly into the discernible, albeit still interpretively filtered, light of photographic evidence, profoundly shaping modern perceptions of its existence and its ongoing, mysterious vigil over humanity and our fragile blue planet, continuing to challenge the boundaries of conventional thinking and igniting fervent debates across the globe about the true nature of what's out there.
For narratives as deeply compelling and powerfully ingrained as the Black Knight satellite, the intoxicating allure of the unknown often exerts an irresistible gravitational pull, tenaciously resisting the intrusion of simpler, more pedestrian, yet often scientifically robust, explanations. But for the rigorous and disciplined pursuit of scientific truth, for the meticulous unraveling of verifiable fact from the seductive tapestry of speculative fiction, the unwavering light of reason must, inevitably, prevail. The Black Knight, in its contemporary form, is undoubtedly a magnificent and captivating modern myth, a shining testament to the boundless reaches of human imagination and our profound, almost spiritual desire for cosmic connection beyond our terrestrial confines. Yet, When every purported piece of its evidence is subjected to the cold, objective, and unyielding lens of methodical scientific inquiry and thorough historical re-evaluation, each component reveals a far more prosaic, though arguably no less fascinating, explanation rooted firmly in established scientific principles. These rational explanations, crucially, seldom completely strip away the intrinsic sense of wonder, but rather they meticulously reframe it, deftly re-anchoring the initial mystery within the clearly defined boundaries of what is verifiably known and demonstrably observable, replacing alien grandeur with terrestrial, albeit complex realities that are remarkable in their own right.
Let us now systematically revisit the primary pillars upon which the Black Knight legend has been so carefully constructed over the decades, and critically examine the broadly accepted scientific and historical counter-arguments that convincingly address each claim. This deliberate process of scientific deconstruction is not, I emphasize, intended as a dismissive scoffing or an arrogant debunking of genuine human curiosity, but rather a meticulous, respectful exercise in careful, evidence-based reasoning designed to precisely separate the robust signal of verifiable facts from the pervasive noise of speculation, and to foster a deeper understanding of how genuine, initially perplexing anomalies can so readily be reinterpreted through a highly speculative and overly eager lens of extraterrestrial wonder. Our overarching aim is to bring intellectual clarity without necessarily extinguishing the intrinsic sense of awe, explaining the how without necessarily negating the initial wow factor that drew so many to the story, thereby offering a balanced, comprehensive, and intellectually honest assessment of the Black Knight's supposed evidence, allowing listeners to draw their own conclusions based on the full spectrum of information available, both scientific and legendary.
Firstly, we embark on a return journey to the very dawn of this sprawling legend, Nikola Tesla's widely publicized 1899 signals. While Tesla was undeniably an unparalleled genius, whose intuitive and groundbreaking grasp of electromagnetism was decades ahead of its time, his claims of receiving periodic signals from outer space were originally made in an era entirely devoid of our precise, modern understanding of radio astronomy. There were, quite simply, no established baseline readings of known cosmic radio sources, no scientific knowledge of pulsars, quasars, or the myriad other natural cosmic phenomena that are now known to generate highly regular electromagnetic pulses. When a rapidly rotating neutron star, commonly known as a pulsar, emits its powerful beams of radiation, these pulses rigorously arrive on Earth with extreme, almost clockwork-like precision, often uncannily mimicking what might be perceived as an artificial, intelligently designed signal. Moreover, various geophysical and atmospheric phenomena, such as natural VLF, very low frequency, emissions originating from Earth's own ionosphere, or even highly complex atmospheric lightning discharges, are well documented to create rhythmic, seemingly artificial patterns that could have easily fooled early detection equipment. Without the technical capacity to accurately triangulate and definitively verify the exact source, or even to possess any clear idea of what a truly natural cosmic radio signal genuinely sounded like, Tesla's epoch-making reception, however extraordinary and personally impactful it clearly was to him, remains entirely consistent with a range of known natural phenomena. He was listening intently where no one else had ever listened before, and for that audacious pioneering spirit, he opened the door to countless later discoveries, even if his initial, groundbreaking interpretation was necessarily constrained and limited by the fundamental scientific knowledge available in his early, nascent era of cosmic listening, a context crucial for understanding the true nature of his findings, and how they were later integrated into the Black Knight myth by others. The Black Knight satellite, therefore, is not, in fact, a single, unified, or consistently ancient extraterrestrial artifact, as often portrayed. Instead, It is in its entirety a truly remarkable historical and cultural phenomenon, a powerful and enduring narrative born from the persuasive conflation of several distinct, individually verifiable, and entirely prosaic occurrences. It is the fascinating result of the misinterpretation of natural radio signals, the diligent tracking of discarded terrestrial space debris, the complex physical effects of Earth's own intricate magnetosphere, and the compelling photographic capture of a jettisoned thermal blanket. It is, ultimately, a captivating story constructed not upon a grand, nefarious alien conspiracy, but rather upon the endlessly fascinating intersection of human error, the inherent limitations of early scientific and technological development, periods of unavoidable governmental secrecy, and the powerful, almost irresistible human urge to spontaneously find profound meaning, and indeed, intelligent design, in the vast and often bewildering unknowns that lie just beyond our immediate terrestrial world. This scientific deconstruction aims not to diminish the sense of wonder, but to redirect it towards the remarkable realities of our own planet and our journey into space, revealing how every seemingly extraordinary piece of evidence for the Black Knight can be logically explained through known terrestrial and astrophysical phenomena. The compelling nature of this explanation lies in its ability to account for all facets of the myth without resorting to the fantastical, firmly re-anchoring the story within the realm of the observable universe.
The rigorous debunking of the Black Knight is not, as some might mistakenly perceive, an effort to capriciously diminish the inherent mystery or wonder of the sprawling universe. Rather, it represents a precise and dedicated endeavor to sharpen our collective understanding of it. It meticulously separates genuinely perplexing, scientifically anomalous phenomena from the seductive realm of speculative interpretation and unverified claims. It serves as an essential reminder that while the cosmos is, without question, profoundly full of unimaginable wonders and unexplained marvels, not every mystery or perplexing observation necessarily requires the guiding hand of an ancient, advanced alien civilization to be explained. Often, the most compelling and verifiable explanation is humbly found much closer to home, deeply embedded within the fascinating complexities of our own planet's natural processes, the intricate workings of our own burgeoning technology, and, most importantly, the profound and often deceptive intricacies of our own human psychology, which yearns for grand narratives, for a deeper meaning, for a connection to something larger than ourselves. The Black Knight legend, however, maintains an incredibly gripping power over the popular imagination, leading all of us now to critically reflect on why some stories, even when thoroughly and meticulously explained through scientific rationale, simply refuse to ever truly fade or relinquish their tenacious hold on our collective consciousness, remaining a source of enduring fascination and debate, a powerful testament to the human spirit's unwavering attraction to the enigmatic and the unknown. This persistence points towards a fundamental human need that transcends simple facts, a need for narratives that speak to our deepest curiosities about life beyond Earth, and a desire to believe in the extraordinary, even when the ordinary provides a more likely truth.
So, if the scientific explanations for each component of the Black Knight satellite legend are robust and readily available, why does the myth endure with such captivating power? Why do countless individuals still cling to the narrative of an ancient alien probe, orbiting secretly above us for millennia, even in the face of compelling evidence to the contrary? The answer lies not always in the cosmic expanse, but within the intricate recesses of the human mind itself. The Black Knight provides a fascinating case study in the psychology of belief, the human response to ambiguity, and the profound, often subconscious, ways we construct meaning in a universe that frequently offers more questions than answers. It taps into primal aspects of our curiosity and our inherent need for narrative, especially when confronted with the vast unknowns of space, where our deepest fears and highest hopes often coalesce into compelling, if unverified, stories.
At its heart, the legend of the Black Knight thrives on what psychologists term apophenia, the deeply ingrained human tendency to spontaneously perceive meaningful connections or patterns between things that are, in objective reality, either entirely unrelated or purely coincidental. Our brains are incredibly adept pattern-seeking machines, constantly striving to find order in chaos, to create a coherent narrative from fragmented data points. In the pervasive absence of complete, unambiguous information, especially regarding mysterious aerial phenomena or ancient historical anomalies, we, as humans, often subconsciously and enthusiastically fill in these perplexing cognitive gaps with the most intriguing and frequently the most extraordinary or fantastical possible explanations that our fertile imaginations can readily conjure. This cognitive bias is a powerful engine for myth-making, allowing disparate events to be woven into a singular, compelling tapestry of belief. The Black Knight, therefore, is not merely a collection of data. It is a testament to this powerful human impulse, a story born from our innate desire for grand narratives about the universe, even when simpler, more prosaic explanations exist, showing the powerful pull of the extraordinary over the ordinary in the human mind.
Furthermore, the Black Knight taps into a deep-seated human yearning for significance and connection. The idea that an ancient, highly advanced alien civilization took an interest in our planet long before we emerged from the primordial ooze, and placed a silent sentinel to observe our journey, imbues humanity's existence with a profound cosmic importance. It suggests we are not just random biological accidents on an insignificant speck of dust, but rather part of a larger, grander story, woven into the fabric of extraterrestrial observation. This narrative offers a powerful counterpoint to the often cold and indifferent universe presented by mainstream science, feeding a fundamental human need for meaning and purpose in the vast, silent void. It provides a thrilling sense of cosmic connection and validation, a reassurance that our isolated planet holds a unique, observed status within a broader, more mysterious galactic context, making the mundane reality of space debris or thermal blankets far less appealing than the romantic vision of an ancient alien watcher patiently overseeing our evolution from afar.
The persistence of the legend is also deeply rooted in our collective fascination with forbidden knowledge and secret truths. The pervasive narrative often includes elements of government cover-ups, suggesting that official agencies are deliberately concealing the truth about the Black Knight from the public. This feeds into a widespread mistrust of authority and a desire to expose hidden realities, making the legend far more compelling than any official explanation. When institutions like NASA offer mundane explanations, they are often perceived by believers not as providing clarity, but as actively participating in the cover-up, thereby inadvertently reinforcing the very conspiracy they seek to discredit. This phenomenon, where debunking efforts are reinterpreted as further evidence of a conspiracy, creates a self-sustaining feedback loop for the myth, ensuring its longevity in the public consciousness and allowing it to flourish in the fertile ground of skepticism towards official narratives, making it impervious to factual correction. The more scientists explain, the more some believers suspect, solidifying the Black Knight's position as a cherished secret truth, known only to those who dare to look beyond the surface.
Finally, the Black Knight resonates because it exists at the intersection of our deepest fears and our highest hopes regarding extraterrestrial life. It embodies both the thrill of discovering alien intelligence and the unsettling notion of being observed without consent, of our history unfolding under a silent alien gaze. It is a story that refuses to die because it taps into potent, universal human questions about our origins, our destiny, and our place in the cosmos. Even as science progresses and offers increasingly rational explanations for every aspect of the legend, the fundamental human need for stories that explore the boundaries of the known, the unexplained, and the profoundly mysterious remains undiminished. The Black Knight, therefore, will likely continue its vigil, not just in the contested skies of our imagination, but within the very fabric of human psychology. A powerful reminder of our enduring struggle to reconcile the tangible world with the tantalizing pull of the unproven and the profoundly unknown that lies just beyond our grasp, keeping the flame of cosmic wonder and speculation alive in the hearts of dreamers and theorists alike, always providing a rich narrative for those who ponder the greatest mysteries of existence, ensuring that its powerful mythology remains an eternal fascination. And so, we bring our immersive and deeply thought-provoking journey to a thoughtful, reflective close, having meticulously traversed the intricate and often bewildering landscape of the Black Knight satellite legend. We began our odyssey in the crackling electric laboratory of Nikola Tesla, a place where unseen signals seemed to hint at an ancient cosmic communication. We then journeyed through the silent, tension-filled echoes of Cold War radar rooms, where phantom objects stirred profound national fears and fueled rampant international speculation. Finally, we peered intently at the enigmatic high-resolution images beamed back from a modern NASA space shuttle, which, for many, seemed to provide the most concrete and irrefutable evidence for the legend yet. Throughout this extensive exploration, we diligently peeled back the numerous, overlapping layers of its elaborate construction, ultimately discovering that each purported piece of evidence, when subjected to rigorous scientific scrutiny and careful historical analysis, undeniably reveals a much more grounded and arguably no less fascinating explanation, firmly rooted in natural phenomena, the challenges inherent in early space technology and observational misunderstandings. The once grand cosmic sentinel, believed by many to have stood guard for millennia, ultimately dissolves into a mundane thermal blanket, a forgotten piece of space junk, or simply the natural, intricate symphony of the cosmic background noise inadvertently heard through the imperfect, yet hopeful and dream-filled, filters of human perception and the inherent limitations of early technological development, reminding us that reality, while often less fantastical, can still be remarkably complex and awe-inspiring.
Does this meticulous unpacking, this systematic and exhaustive demystification, ultimately diminish the raw power or the intrinsic appeal of the Black Knight's story? For some, perhaps, the allure of an ancient alien watcher from the depths of time is undeniably more thrilling, more romantically grand, and profoundly mysterious than the prosaic reality of a discarded thermal blanket, a mundane piece of space debris, or a peculiar atmospheric quirk. But for others, and I would count myself among them, the very act of debunking itself reveals something equally, if not more profoundly, captivating. It meticulously lays bare the remarkable intricacies of our sprawling universe and, simultaneously, exposes the powerful and often deceptive workings of the human mind, its inherent yearning for profound connection, its boundless capacity for narrative storytelling and its insatiable drive to seek meaning. The enduring power of legends like the Black Knight lies not always in their verifiable, objective truth, but rather in what these legends fundamentally reveal about us as a species. It speaks volumes about a fundamental human desire for profound connection, for pervasive significance beyond our terrestrial confines, for an ultimate purpose in the vast cosmic void. It powerfully taps into our ancient, primal fear of the utterly unknown and our profound, often desperate hope that we are, in the grand scheme of the universe, not entirely alone in this vast, cold, silent expanse, forever stirring our imagination and prompting us to ask deeper questions about our existence and our place in the cosmos, making the story of our interpretations as compelling as the initial mystery itself.
When Nikola Tesla, a true titan of innovation and foresight, claimed to have heard those rhythmic, pulsating signals in his Colorado Springs laboratory during the twilight of the 19th century, he was not merely listening to random static. He was listening intently to the vast, unseen cosmos, his brilliant mind imbued with an almost messianic spirit of hopeful discovery and an intuitive, profound grasp of invisible forces that others could only dimly perceive. To him, in that solitary, epoch-making moment of cosmic revelation, it was unequivocally a clear, intelligent greeting from another world. Similarly, when diligent Cold War radar operators tracked phantom, unidentified objects years before Sputnik famously ushered in the space age, they were not merely seeing mundane debris or making simple misidentifications. They were, in truth, grappling with the profound anxieties of a truly new technological frontier, confronting the chilling specter of unforeseen threats, and wrestling with the dizzying, often terrifying speed of a rapidly changing global order, where perception of power was paramount. And, when the eager global public subsequently consumed those strikingly clear STS-88 images, they were not simply observing a lost piece of insulation tumbling in orbit. They were seeing, with a profound collective will, precisely what they wanted to see, what powerfully resonated with a century of whispers and wonders, what seemed to offer definitive, undeniable proof of an intelligent extraterrestrial presence they had long suspected, deep in their collective unconscious, perfectly illustrating the human capacity to connect disparate threads into a compelling, if ultimately misleading, narrative. Even as meticulous scientific consensus now offers robust, compelling explanations for each and every component piece of the complex Black Knight legend, that faint, haunting echo of profound mystery continues to stubbornly persist. This is precisely because, while we can logically explain away specific pieces of tantalizing evidence, the fundamental existential questions that perpetually nourish and sustain such deeply ingrained legends remain, in truth, frustratingly unanswered. Are we, in this vast, incomprehensible cosmic expanse, truly and utterly alone, a solitary flicker of consciousness in an infinite void? What else is genuinely out there, beyond the full, current reach of our most powerful telescopes, beyond the inherent limits of our current scientific understanding and technological capabilities? And what silent sentinels, perhaps truly alien and unfathomably ancient, could be orbiting, unseen and unknown, in the vast dark emptiness of deep space, patiently waiting for another unique signal, another opportune moment to dramatically reveal themselves? Utterly outside the narrative bounds of our human-constructed myths and legends, these questions, powerful and enduring, keep the spirit of unexplained history alive, prompting us to continue our search, always seeking the next great cosmic revelation, ensuring the human quest for understanding never truly ends.
The Black Knight satellite, then, ultimately serves as a powerful and deeply revealing mirror. It reflects not, as many believe, an alien artifact haunting our skies, but rather our own profound humanity. It reflects our boundless curiosity, our inherent capacity for wonder, our persistent, unwavering desire to spontaneously find profound meaning and elusive intelligence in the enigmatic universe that surrounds us, and, at times, our stubborn, almost defiant refusal to gracefully let go of a profoundly good story, even when objective scientific logic decisively suggests we should. It powerfully reminds us that the unexplained, even when it eventually finds a perfectly rational and verifiable explanation, can still leave an indelible and profound impact on our collective consciousness, shaping our worldview and our dreams. The Black Knight satellite may be scientifically demystified, its constituent components now thoroughly understood, but the deeper, more primal human need for the unexplained, the enduring capacity for profound wonder in the face of the vast, dark unknown, remains as universally real, as potently compelling, and as existentially powerful as ever. And in that deeply human sense, perhaps, the Black Knight continues its eternal, silent vigil, not primarily in Earth's cold, silent orbit, but rather, and far more significantly, within the boundless, ever-active theater of our very own human imagination, perpetually inspiring us to seek answers. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of unexplained history. I'm Tom Mackenzie. Until next time, remember to keep looking up, and most importantly, keep questioning the seemingly obvious, for true discovery often lies in the enigmatic shadows, waiting to be illuminated by the relentless light of human inquiry, whether scientific or imaginative.